Welcome to Growing Bremerton Together with Mayor Patty Lent. My special guest today is Aaron Leavell. He's Superintendent of Bremerton School District. We're going to learn about his life and the plans for our students. Stay with us. Welcome to Growing Bremerton Together with Mayor Patty Lent. My special guest today is Aaron Leavell. He's Superintendent of the Bremerton School District. And we're going to learn about his life and his career in education and the future of our students. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mayor.
And you were born in Bremerton.
That's correct. I was born in Bremerton at Harrison Hospital to Richard and Susan Leavell back in 1972.
And Susan is the daughter of one of our mayors.
Correct. Yep, Susan Jarstead, East High grad, 1967. My grandfather was Glenn Jarstead, mayor of Bremerton, and my grandmother was June Etten, lifelong Manette resident, and graduate of Bremerton High from 1943.
Oh my gosh, there are generations. I realized that when we exchanged or took down the old Manette Bridge, that 80-year icon, I was with your grandmother.
Yes.
And also the granddaughter of Chief Self. We were the last ones to go across the bridge before it actually was demolished when we got the new one. But we're pretty happy with Manette and with Bremerton.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Now you have a beautiful wife, and your relations are, and I want to talk about leadership. So your grandfather was a mayor.
Correct.
Your father-in-law was a fire chief.
That is correct, yep. Recently retired a few years back, Chief Roy Lusk with Kitsap Fire District. Yep.
And at one time, I think right out of high school, you were a volunteer fireman.
I was, yeah. I had a couple years stint as a volunteer with CK Fire and One. I think I was inspired a little bit by Roy's career, and it was always very exciting and going out on all the different types of calls. Certainly got into that through meeting Kelly. And then at one point, Kelly said, I'm going to school, I'm going to be a teacher. So that sounded pretty intriguing to me, and so I kind of changed courses a little bit.
And so in your teaching, I do know that wanting to be a teacher and a coach, but you've really advanced. So a little bit about your teaching time and coaching time when you first started.
Sure, right. So my very first job out of college was at Ridgetop Junior High, which was pretty surreal for me because I was the first ASB president of Ridgetop Junior High the year that it opened.
Oh, exciting.
So coming back to be a first-year teacher there was really exciting to work with the staff and people who were still there. And then from there, I was hired at Bremerton Junior High and was a 9th grade social studies teacher. So I taught Washington State history to freshmen and was the ASB advisor, so I had a leadership class.
Was that where the old East High was when it became Bremerton Junior High?
Correct. Yes.
How many years was that a junior high school?
Let's see, I believe that was a junior high for over 20 years in our district. And at that time, it was just grades 8, 9, because Mountain View was there and it had grades 6, 7.
Right.
So we had a lot of transitions in our district.
You've done a lot of emergent things that I think have been beneficial to our current student capacity. And then when were you principal of Bremerton High School?
Yeah, so I became principal of Bremerton High in 2004. And I was an assistant principal at Bremerton High, but I was running our freshman campus at the junior high site.
Ah, so you had the title, but you were over on a different campus.
Correct. Yep.
And then you wanted to be even higher in the leadership. So in order to do that, you need to start like an assistant superintendent. And you moved to North Kitsap. I want to share with the audience is that oftentimes when the 5 school districts in Kitsap County, Central Kitsap and Bainbridge, North Kitsap and Bainbridge have a high level of exposure. And so people look at that when they want to take and say, what school district do I want to be in? I really applaud you, Aaron, for taking that step and going through the process. How long were you assistant superintendent for North Kitsap?
Sure, so I was at North Kitsap from 2009 through 2012. And I was my primary responsibility was for the secondary schools in North Kitsap. And yeah, it's a fantastic community. The Paulsbo, Kingston area is a pretty desired area, and they were doing some innovative things at the time. And I think being there and working with the two tribes up north was a very beneficial experience for me. And when Bremerton called and said it's time to come home, I really valued that experience and brought a lot of that back with me.
Well, Bremerton has the highest ethnic diversity.
Correct.
And so having worked with ethnicity, I believe that is what makes it so you're focused and it's incorporated. I always tell people that if you attend Bremerton High School, you can leave and go out anywhere in the world, and you've had a little touch of what the world is made up of.
Oh, truly. It is, I've often said, our diversity is our best gift in Bremerton. I think if you were to talk to any graduates from Bremerton High, they would say the same thing. Whether it's ethnicity, economic diversity, and then just the different experiences that we offer and have available to all of our students in Bremerton. So,
talking about experiences, you've put in some programs that are not only first class, kind of emerging on the verge of new types of studies and academics, but you're being awarded constantly for the strides that you've made. And what is the enrollment of your school district today?
Sure. So in the last 4 years, we've grown over 450 students in the Bremerton School District. So I think a lot of that has to do with what we offer and the high quality programs and the high quality of teachers that we have behind those programs. And also Bremerton is just becoming the place to be.
It is the place to be.
We recognize that, and we're pleased to be your partner in that revitalization. So we are now up to about 5,400 students. And while that is a very positive thing, it is creating us to have a good problem to have.
Right.
So we are at capacity in our buildings right now.
You've been very fortunate in the levies that you've needed to pass, in the school bonds.
Yes.
So that in order to we have a STEM Academy, and we were the first school district to have a STEM Academy in Kitsap County. It's over at West Hills.
Correct.
And you just added a new complement to that. So that new building, what is that going to really focus on?
Yeah, so we're very thankful to the voters of Bremerton for that gift of education to our students. So we have added an addition onto that building that is a STEM laboratory with 6 additional classrooms. And it will primarily house our middle school students that attend that school. But it's really neat because all of the classrooms are open to each other. There's the center area. We'll have lots of technology and lab space for students to do STEM activities. And then we're enhancing our outdoor classrooms as well on the property for STEM.
Now you have a limit to the number of students that can be there, and it is a sought-after academy. It's pre-K, Montessori, all the way through 8th grade. And I know I was there when you got $2,500 for some new computerware or technology.
Yes.
And your 7th graders are learning how to build apps for our iPhones. It's amazing that they're already that advanced at a young age.
Yeah, they're having all kinds of experiences there at the STEM Academy and across some of our other schools in the district. They do participate in Hour of Code. They're doing coding, creating apps for phones and their own devices, which we encourage them to bring their own device, which in some schools that might be somewhat prohibited. Yeah, we're very excited about the possibilities that can continue in that campus. And we do have a wait list for that school for students who live outside the district and want to get in and experience that. So I believe we have led the way, and I believe there will be models very similar to ours popping up not only across the county, but probably across the state, I would assume.
I would love to see that across the state as we make sure that there is that education component for each student. Bremerton School District also had the first all-day kindergarten with Spanish emergence, and that's Naval Avenue, and it's early learning, so it is from pre-K to 3rd grade.
Correct.
And then if someone wants to continue the Spanish, they can go to Kitsap Lake Elementary, and they also have Spanish being taught to those elementary students.
Right. So Naval Avenue Early Learning Center is actually birth to third grade. So we have some community programs that have even younger students there with us. And yes, we were the first district probably a decade ago under Dr. Betty Hyde when she was our superintendent.
I knew Betty.
And of course went on to be the director of early learning for the state of Washington, appointed by the governor. And they decided at that time that with the dynamics of our community, we were not going to charge several $1,000s to our parents just to have them in all-day K, when we knew the research was so strong that that would be the best benefit for kids at that time. So the Bremerton School District has had free all-day K, was the only district at the time for many years that was doing that.
Right.
And I do believe that is one of the benefits that our current high schoolers who started with us during that time are seeing now, because they were able to be at or above those benchmarks in third grade.
So we knew what the benefits could be, and we've just followed that. Another advancement that's exciting, we have now 2 alternatives. We have the Renaissance, and then we started the Phoenix Academy. So we're not just 11th and 12th grade, but we've gone down to 9th and 10th grade. We don't want anyone to slip through the cracks.
Correct.
And I believe that you've got about 30 in each one of those programs, or?
Yeah, so our Renaissance High School currently has over 100 students in it right now. Yep. And then our Phoenix Academy, we have transformed into what's called our Open Doors School.
Great.
And so that is really a hands-on, internship-based type of an experience for students. And we'll have our first graduates out of that program coming this spring.
I hope to be at that graduation.
I'm sure
that
you
would
will
be pretty exciting. One more thing, and we talk about the Bremerton School District because Bremerton being the largest city in the Kitsap County, we also have the Washington Youth Academy. So as superintendent, your leadership and your influence is very widespread. You have so much more involvement than our other school districts. So, and we're going to come back to the West Sound Tech, but the Academy, that started when I was county commissioner. And I know it took a lot. There are 35 academies across the United States. And tell us about the highest, the Teacher of the Year. Yeah,
so we're very, very proud of the program. Lynn Cadell, who is our assistant superintendent, was one of the founding members of creating the Youth Academy here in Bremerton. And since that time, it has really grown. We could probably use another 150 spots here at our own Youth Academy, in addition to having one maybe on the east side of the state. So folks from all over the state come and spend 9 weeks at our Youth Academy. Since its inception, we have had an instructor and just an incredible person who was one of our elementary teachers originally at Crown Hill Elementary, and his name is Todd Hall. And Todd Hall this past month was just notified that he is the National Teacher of the Year for all of the Challenge Youth Academy schools.
Right, and it is a challenge program. It's got some, because Washington, the National Guard is what is the basis for it, and we've found it's remarkable. They work with our other schools, and they have to earn wearing fatigues. So these students that are there, and we really have, the city is making it possible that when it's time to have an additional 150, the permits are ready to go. We know that it's zoned correctly. We know that that will take place at some time, just because of the benefits that we're getting. In addition to the Academy, we also have West Sound Tech. And we're going to end up talking about a great award that you've had for the last couple of years. But students that are not college bound, and they have a skill or they have an interest, West Sound Tech, I know, has 9 different school districts that send students.
Yeah, so West Sound Tech is really one of the hidden gems, you know, that is thankfully within our school district boundaries. So we do serve those 9 other districts. We have many different programs, from biomed to cosmetology, welding, auto body, auto repair. We have a program to prepare students who want to become police officers, firefighters, CAD programs, video game building. I mean, you name it. is really the place to be if you have a student who is or isn't college bound, but really wants a hands-on interactive education. Then West Sound Tech is for them, and they can spend a few hours there a day and still have their core classes back in their sending school. So right now, West Sound Tech is probably one of our older buildings that we are working very hard with our state legislators to help us get a new building. It is not like a normal school building where we would run a bond or a levy to replace that.
No.
Skill centers are managed somewhat by the state, so it is state dollars designated by OSPI and our legislators that make that happen. So we are in the queue right now in the top 3 for receiving some funds to new building. And we're very excited about that because then we would have the capability of expanding our offerings and having new equipment.
And it's great. They have lots of scholarships. And I personally know that Safe Boats and Miller Sheet Metal have actually hired graduates directly from that school when they are seniors that go through their diplomas. And they have the skills, so they teach them the types of things they want them to learn. It's a remarkable that we can start with our pre-K or infancy, as you talk, all the way through that 14th year. Now let's talk about the award that you just got for the last 2 years of excellence. And so it's the Career Guidance Award of Excellence.
Yes.
There is a 30-page handbook, and it does prepare, and I believe it starts in the 7th grade.
Right.
So in the middle schools. Give us a little hint about how that prepares that student so when they're out of school that they know that they're going to have some success in their life.
Yeah, so this program is just a great opportunity for us to start in our middle schools and begin to prepare kids for their high school and beyond experience. And so we've carved out time several days a week at Mountain View Middle School and at Bremerton High to do all the things with our students that they might not get out of just a typical core class. So we do things from career planning, college planning, how to be organized, how to set routines for yourself. And then there are culminating projects along the way with different markers depending on what grade level they're at.
Sure.
So there's a culminating project for seniors, and at the very end they do a very nice prepared presentation so that they leave with those skills as well. So they learn how to interview appropriately, they learn how to stand and deliver a presentation. So all of the necessary skills that would really prepare them for college or a career post-college experience.
If a student wanted to get involved in this program, do they talk to their counselor? Do they need parental permission? How does that student navigate through there?
Right, so in this particular program, we run all of our students through it. And then the award that Bremerton High in particular has recently won 2 years in a row. OSPI gives it to, I think, 30 or 33 high schools across the state, is really about the counselor's diligence and dedication to each student on their caseloads and making sure that every student is prepared for their pathway. And we have Chris Swanson, who is our college and career
I've worked with Chris.
Counselor, and he is last year was Washington State's College and Career Counselor of the Year.
Of the year. We've got some top-notch people working for us, don't we?
Very, very happy.
What's exciting is just last month they had a career day, and the students selected their interest level so that they could shadow for a day, whether it was a fireman or an architect, a lawyer, something that they could take and really witness what is the day-to-day work that is actually done there. We started out at the Norm Dix Government Center. I was pleased you had about 50 students. And just a week before that, we had an assembly at the high school, and all we were doing were recognizing 59 students that had not missed a day of school since school started in September. I know this is one of the things that you've initiated in the school, is that when you can find something that is worth acknowledging, there's a lot of students that they're not academic, they're not in sports, they're not in debate, but to acknowledge them for any reason lifts that self-esteem. They are at a level where everyone else in the school, they're matched. It's that they're all equal. It is so fun to be on your campus, no matter what school it is. It is great to know the students and get acquainted with them.
Right.
And we're going to touch a little things that maybe the audience doesn't know. In the Bremerton School District, because we're surrounded by water,
Right.
all of your third graders through all the elementary schools
Right.
get free swimming lessons.
They do.
And you've had 450 that have been through the program. I think
Right.
they just ended the end
They did.
of February.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really a fantastic program, and not one like it around that I'm aware of. So through our partnership with the YMCA, the Bremerton Rotary Club, and some private donors, we are able to provide every third grader in the Bremerton School District with the necessary skills to swim. And it was interesting when we started off with a survey asking students how many of them knew how to swim or well enough to where they could save their life or the life of somebody else. And it was 1 out of 4 students.
Oh my goodness.
And so knowing all the lakes and water that surrounds us, this just seemed like a no-brainer, you know, that just by this program we think that it has saved lives exponentially.
Even more than that, I heard a cute story. A young boy said, "Mom," he was a little bit of a truant and not
Yes.
going to school every day. He says, "Mom, I have to go to school. I've got swimming on Fridays."
Yes.
So some have never seen an indoor pool.
Right.
There again, their confidence level, they'll master floating or swimming. Some want to go on
Right.
to racing. It doesn't hurt to have a gold medalist like
Right, Nathan Adrian.
Nathan Adrian be one that's gone through the school district, and so a mentor that is really
Right.
pretty exciting. And speaking of mentors, you've started a program, the AVID program,
Correct.
with the local Rotary. And so they work and mentor with students that are probably first-time students that will go on to college, or may not
Right.
have graduated from high school had they not had this mentorship.
Right.
They get a cord now for when they're going because of the pride of what they've
Right.
accomplished. Tell me a little about your
Sure.
mentoring program.
Yeah, so it's our AVID program at Bremerton High, and we have it actually at Mountain View Middle School as well. And AVID stands for Advancement Via Individual Determination. And so the goal of AVID is to really take a look at those first generation graduates or first generation folks to go on to college. And so we really take a look at students who have the potential and the interest, but might not have the skills necessary or the routines down, or maybe the support to do it on their own. So one thing that's been really neat about the downtown Bremerton Rotary Club with Steve Rice and Paul Pazuki, 2 very involved community members, is they have inserted a mentorship component to the AVID program. So every AVID student now in Bremerton High School has a mentor from the community, a business person or whomever,
Leadership
person. And we come in 1 Friday a month and spend an hour or so with their mentor group. And they have little activities that they do with the kids, but really it's just about sitting down and getting to know them, checking in, how are things going, how can I help you? Here's some of the experiences that I have had in my life and at your age and beyond. And the students just love that. And they stick with them for 4 years.
Oh my goodness, that's exciting. With parents, 2 parents in a household working,
Yes.
or oftentimes just a single parent raising a family, they don't have the time. And again, some of our students, if they're the first year that are going to go on to school or get through high school, a parent doesn't know what new math is like. So it's
Right.
difficult for them to work with that academic side of it.
Right.
You've also done, through a scholarship with Washington State University, Strengthening Families.
Yes.
And boy, I'll tell you, when a young teenager is going from elementary school to middle school, and they don't know the ropes, and they're going through puberty, and they're going through wanting to be independent,
Right.
and then being immersed with all kinds of different people, the parents have a tough time saying,
Right.
well, pick my battles. When do I lock them in the room? When do I take away their phone? And so I like that program.
Yes.
And it's wonderful. And the city's going to work with you. One of the things that happened is we didn't have transportation. So we're going to work with you in the school district to provide something in some manner this next school year.
Thank you.
When those, is it 8 or 9 weeks, Aaron?
Yes.
That they come in, they have dinner, they bring the little siblings so that there's a kind of a babysitter that takes care of them. Mostly Key Club kids or volunteers, Boys
Yes.
and Girls Club. They're working with the younger students. The parents work on some projects. They work together with the students.
Right.
It's just an introduction to the next phase.
Right.
Those are things that I would like to recommend when I lobby
Right.
down in Olympia. That's the way that we want our education dollars and that McCleary lawsuit to actually get provided.
Right.
You are such an extreme example of the right things that can be done, the things that you've initiated in the schools, for the students, for the parents, for the PTA. Aaron, it's a joy to have you on the
Thank
program.
you. It's great to be here.
And I know that you have a long future ahead of you. Your dreams have come true,
you.
and I think that you see how you can navigate those students
Yes.
into the dreams that they have.
Yes. That's our goal. Thank
That's
you
your
very
goal.
much.
And the last thing is, this school district and this city are going to have a wellness campus. You've got funds now to re-roof the auditorium or the gymnasium,
yep.
out by the Boys and Girls Club. You also have funds to demolish an eyesore and get ready
Right.
for the next phase of your 40 acres or 44 acres
Yes.
of a school district. You've got tremendous challenges ahead of you, and you're
Right.
the right person in the job.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, audience, for staying with us. An exciting program. We'll see you next time on Growing Bremerton Together and Mayor Patty Lent.